the companies that stayed consistent, the companies that didn't lay off all their staff, the companies that adapted quickly are the ones that won in the moment. And now they slingshotted out of that to be like 40, 50% up of where they were. Now, some of them are having to learn how to hold on to that. But I think in a micro way, every economic cycle is a way to do that.
You can grow your wealth in any season if you
Yes.
know how to do it the right way.
Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm joined by Caleb, AG, for president.
No.
You would make an awesome president.
Wow. But I would never run.
Well,
I appreciate that.
You know what? Don't be so sure. I think we would all have a list of people we might put in place
in
of
the write-in.
Yeah, as in the write-in portion. You know, Donald Duck comes to mind. Let's see. Who would yours be? I mean,
who would I write in?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott for president. Yeah.
Yeah.
In all practicality, I think Mike Rowe would be an awesome president.
That'd be an interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Dave Ramsey would be a good default. So
yeah.
This is the place where we answer your real life marketing questions so you can grow your business, eliminate waste in advertising, and achieve the big dream. And aren't we all dreaming of peace and getting this season behind us? It is election season, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
We're spinning up. It's like 78 days at this point, something like that, till the big day.
Mm-hmm.
And that always, like ever since I've been in marketing and small business, that always, I've gone through 7 election cycles. If you want to count the every 2 years for the Senate and all the 4 years, I've been through 7 of them at this point. And it just gets things weird, right?
Yeah.
So we're hearing a whole lot of,
well, I'm just going to wait and see, and we'll see what we do after the election.
Let's see how this election ends, and I'll decide if I'm going to buy or not, or if I'm going to go in my bunker. Right?
I would make a bet that, of the 60 episodes that we've done, I don't know what number we're on, we've probably said, hey, an election year is coming up at least a dozen times by now.
We have.
And called it.
I remember customers of mine back in right before the Obama transition being like, well, let's see what happens, and then after, everybody wants to pretend like things are going to change. And on a macro scale, on a, slight fluctuation on the history meter, yes.
Yeah.
But there will be exactly 0 things a politician can do for you that you can't do better for yourself. Mm-hmm. You are 1,000 times more in control than they are. So I'm talking to the wise ones. Mm-hmm. We all have our preferences. We all have our pulls. We all have our convictions. That's a great thing to hold on to.
Yeah.
But
we have a business reality right now.
We have a business reality, and we're smarter than that. We don't want to fall to the magnet and we don't want to fall in the swamp that the media is asking us to do. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to be confident leaders. We're going to be competent leaders. We're going to bring joy into the room instead of contributing to the poison. Mm-hmm. We're going to lead with optimism. We're going to keep our eye on the North Star. And no matter which way the wind blows our little boat, we're going to adjust the sails to counteract for that.
Yep.
And we have 2 practical things that in the next 2.5 months, you need to be doing for your business if you want to ride the waves a little smoother.
Yeah.
And come out of it on top regardless.
Yes.
Number 1, you need to focus on LTOs.
What's an LTO, Brandon?
What's an LTO, you might ask? LTO is a limited time offer, okay? You know me. You know this podcast. Mm-hmm. You know our brand of navigation in the business waters. Mm-hmm. We don't talk a whole lot about LTOs from a day-to-day perspective.
Yeah.
Usually, making a special offer or a buy now type offer, it works less the longer and longer you do it.
Yes.
It works really good up front. People get addicted to that. And then before they know it, they've trained their market and their customer to only buy them when something's on sale.
Yeah.
Now,
that was your Surgeon General warning on the side of this package.
Yes. This may cause cancer.
Yeah.
Actually, literally.
This
may cause business cancer.
This may cause you are training your customer because the moment they've seen you do it once, they're going to hope that if they're paying attention, they'll hope that you're doing it again and maybe wait for you to do it again.
So we are not going car dealer on you.
No.
And you shouldn't go car dealer unless you are a car dealer and then be a car dealer by,
but in your own way.
No offense to our car dealer friends. And our car dealer friends already know this and they don't do this.
Yeah, we got it.
But there is a time and a place where an LTO, specifically in times where there's a different baseline reason to buy or not to buy.
Yep.
And there is a universal excuse psychologically and emotionally for people not to buy, and that's in place. And until you offer them something that is, on a scale bigger than that reason not to buy, a reason to buy,
they're
going to default to that until that, work its way out. Right now, that's the election and uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. At the beginning of COVID, it was COVID until everybody started getting checks, and then they were happy with it.
Then they had a reason to buy, right?
Yep.
And then prices went down, and before they went sharply up and all that stuff. And not to contribute to the political chaos, but the pandemic was a really good lesson of that.
Mm-hmm.
The companies that stayed consistent, the companies that didn't lay off all their staff, the companies that adapted quickly are the ones that won in the moment. And now they slingshotted out of that to be like 40, 50% up of where they were 2019. Now, some of them are having to learn how to hold on to that growth. But I think in a micro way, every economic cycle is a way to do that, because fact is most people are sheep.
Yeah. Well, Rich Dad, Poor Dad would tell you that you can grow your wealth in any season if you know how to do it the right way.
There are buyers and sellers. And even look at major things like the housing market in the worst of times. Outside of the Great Depression, but since the Great Depression, housing values, especially in the Midwest here, like really only swung 5%-ish.
Yeah.
And if you're looking longer term, what is it they say? The poor think day to day, the poor think week to week.
Mm-hmm.
The average think month to month. The rich think year to year, and the ultra wealthy think decade to decade.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, get on that decade cycle, right? Think about what you're doing now to ride these big waves that in the lens of backing out over 20, 30 years, which is, the life cycle of a leader inside of a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
This ain't nothing but a thing.
Yep.
But right now, because cash flow, we'd like to see it maintain, right?
Yeah. Not red.
Yeah.
We like black on the P&L.
Yeah, we'd like to keep gathering acorns and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to be able to keep a reasonable amount of confidence in investing in our business.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do is we're going to make the reason to buy bigger than the reason not to buy, and that's done with an LTO. So it's really simple. We've got a handful of ideas for you here, but you're creating a special window where you get this offer if you buy it now, and if you don't buy now, love you still. We'll serve you later, but it's not going to be at this price, this rate, or with this sort of value.
Yep.
Just shooting off the cuff here, right?
Mm-hmm.
End of the year, I think it's pretty reasonable for people to expect price increases to go up. Like everything goes up every year or two.
Yep.
Especially if you're in a materials-based business. I'm talking to my builders. I'm talking to my manufacturing type clients. I'm talking to people who are dealers or certified, like I'm thinking my car dealers.
Some sort of MSRP or map pricing situation that's dictated above you, right? So you know it's going to go up.
Yep. So, hey, we just got notice from our manufacturers, and this is probably true. Do not quote unquote manufacture this. Don't make this up. Do not lie. Okay.
No.
If it is true though, and in most industries there's some truth to it, hey, we know that prices are going to be going up. We're about to place our last order for the year, or we're about to, have our last window to install this XYZ before our gutter prices go up, or our HVAC prices go up, or they discontinue this model. And what that means for you is it's a really good time to buy. Almost flip the script of like all the people sort of saving for the proverbial winter that's coming after the big election doomsday.
Yeah.
Flip that on them. Be like, I agree with you. You should be getting ready. That's why you should buy now, not later, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think it's high now. Dang, wait until so and so gets in office, right?
Yeah.
So leveraging some sort of price increase if it's true, and just putting that in your messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be a buy this second closing tactic, but it can be, hey, in the next month, we're going to remind you this is coming up. And if you want to take advantage of 2024 pricing.
Yeah. In a similar fashion, you could say, hey, you need to get this done before the end of the year. If you're talking to maybe business owners or self-employed people, you could talk about tax credits, write-offs, things like that. You really want to make sure that you're emphasizing, hey, if you don't do this before the calendar year's over, it doesn't count for this year.
If you're dealing with any sort of product that can be a business expense, that's great messaging. We've done this a number of years with vehicle type businesses,
fleets and
fleets
things like
and all that. Yep. Also, a lot of home improvement products qualify for some pretty significant energy tax credits.
That's right.
So HVAC, windows, solar, probably even some roofing products do that. And if there's any sort of Energy Star certification to your probably a little rebate
to come with it.
Say, hey, buy now and maybe combine. You're going to lock in this year's pricing, and by February next year, you're going to get a kiss on your taxes.
Yeah.
So
special financing is another good option.
Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of people are really scared of financing right now because of mortgage rates. But people don't realize actually that some of the other financing options are relatively competitive. So we were talking to a boat dealer friend of ours. The mortgage rates didn't climb at a relative rate increase
to consumer
to the consumer loans that you would get for a boat or a car.
Right.
And so I think everybody assumed, well, mortgages tripled in points. So a car loan's going to be triple what it was as well. That's not true. And I think you could educate your customers like, hey, we've got a special.
And in the case of something that's not government regulated, i.e. consumer loans, i.e. boat loans or home improvement loans, everybody listening probably knows this, but you as the vendor decide what you're willing to give up in margin on the sale. I have lots of people right now who are maybe raising prices a little bit so that they can offer with their financing partner, whether it's a bank or whether it's like Green Sky or like Chase or some sort of consumer credit card that you offer your people. They'll pay, let's say an average financing cost is 5 to 6% to the business that they have to pay for the luxury of giving financing. Well, they might jack that up to 10% and say, hey, I'll give 10 to 15% of the sale away so they can offer a higher, more aggressive financing offer. Like they're essentially offsetting the emotional and psychological pain of high interest rates with saying 0% for 6 months.
Yep.
And I might have to give up 10% of my sale to do that. But if I just raise my prices 5% to compensate for what I would have been doing, that can work out, right?
Yep.
Using messaging for that. And I don't like financing just because. I like saying financing, and right now we have.
Yeah.
Right now, you don't have to pay for it today.
Yep.
Now, I'm not a debt guy. I don't like to put people in that position. Hopefully everybody in this audience, because we are the good ones, right? We're using that as a ramp up and not like a, lock people into something we shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
I don't like over aggressively financing or promoting or putting that around a brand.
Yeah.
However, if a person's got the money in the bank and they're holding on to it because they want,
they want to wait and see.
They want
just
to wait
like
and
we
see
said,
who's going to be president.
Give them
like
no payments for 6 months or
take that away.
Interest or
it's
something.
Like you got 6 months to figure that out.
Yep.
Right? So, and same as cash offers tend to do that anyway. Right now, I think they're especially effective.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. So you could do a bundle or buy one, get one. Those are, I think, pretty simple, but it's, hey, if you buy this, you can get this with it. We have window companies that do like blinds and shades and window coverings.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Like, hey, if you buy windows, we'll throw in the,
what high margin product do you have laying around that's maybe normally an add-on that, I'm not saying give it away completely. Get the higher end margin on the product that they want to buy. The core product, a great example would be windows. Maybe say, hey, if you buy this level of window, we're going to throw in this level of blind. And that difference in what the blind costs you because you've got a 70% markup in that.
Yeah.
Sort of just made it wash out. Not that you wouldn't have rather had full cash for both of them, but right now that makes the sale move forward.
Yeah.
I've got some people doing free installation, and they may raise the price of their core product to compensate for that free installation, or they may eat it. It's not a total sin to accept a lower margin to get a little more volume in the lull here.
Yeah.
With that, what can you bundle? Can you bundle like let's say your average, sale is 6 units of your product, but the average person could buy 8 units. I have some, I don't know why we keep using the window example, but
yeah,
it could probably apply to heating and air too. Like, hey, people just buy an air conditioner. Well, if you buy a heater too, we'll either give it free, or if you do both, we'll bundle it for this price.
Yeah,
right?
Or you get our maintenance plan for a year for free, or you can get, add some value to the sale so that they feel.
Yeah, maybe you want to go ahead and get that entry door done while you're at it. So we'll do 8 windows and an entry door for yada yada price.
Yep.
That's one that's down the list here, but just naming a price for a bundle for a specific thing, taking all uncertainty and shopping out. People don't give themselves the emotional and psychological permission to shop and think with possibility and future what ifs when their brain is constricted by the logical poison that is being thrown at them and shoved down their throat by the news.
Yep. So you got to meet them at the the thinking side of things, because you've got to that's all they have.
Yeah.
They're kind of in their primal brain. It's like, this doesn't make sense. And you gotta enter there and say, hey,
yes,
you could afford this because it's this much.
Yes.
The black and white clarity is really helpful for people, because also if you have an item that the price is abstract and maybe not completely well known, it's really important that people they just genuinely don't know whether it's $3,000 or $30,000.
Yep.
I know you think that they know, but they don't know. And if you were just to say it's this much for this mini, that's a great
It takes 5 steps out of the process.
Yep.
When the sky is blue and the birds are singing, we're happy to walk into a store and look around just for the sake of looking around. And we're going to leave with something. When it's not, when it's dark and gray outside, that doesn't feel right. Stay inside. It's the big bad wolf. It's going to blow your house down, right? So we talked about bundling, buy one, get one offers. Look around and see what you can do to throw in. Closely related to that is gift with purchase.
Yep.
Hey, buy now, we'll throw in a Yeti. There are a lot of like consumer type, luxury type items. Yeti is one of them. I've seen them doing lots of specials. You can probably go get a pretty decent or discounted buy from, if you buy in certain quantities from these bigger, bulk name brand type things.
Yeah.
Maybe go to Costco and buy the yesterday's model of AirPods, or maybe, go to your local barbecue store and buy, they've got barbecue grills sitting around that haven't sold for the summer. Buy, half a dozen of those and give them away for the next 10 people that buy. Half a dozen would be 6, but offer it to the next
half a dozen
X amount
for
of people.
10 people.
Only 6
just
left.
Chop them in half.
Yeah. So limited time offers, just while I'm at that, limited quantity, limited time, limited quantity creates scarcity, right?
Make it a weird number too.
Make it a weird number. We only have 13 left in stock, but if you put your name on one, you can have this with this, right? While supplies last, right? So gift with purchase could be literally anything. Could be you buy, we're going to send you on a cruise with your family. We're going to send you out to dinner. Make it something that you feel is relevant to your customer and like something that they've been kind of needing but wouldn't have bought themselves. An emotional add-on. Logical add-ons to buy to gifts with purchase don't tend to do as well. Yeah. Emotional ones, in my experience, do pretty well.
It's the thing. It's like, hey, you wouldn't have bought this for yourself, but it's Christmas already. We're gonna get it for you. Another one that goes along with that gift with purchase would be cash back with purchase, right? An immediate cash back offer. Those are pretty clear. And
here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna come in here. You're gonna put your name on this thing. You're gonna sign up for 0 months, same as cash financing, and I'm gonna write you a check for $500 because you did it today and not next spring. Side note: close the loophole. Tell them why you're doing that as a business owner. Be transparent with them. Everybody would buy the story that, hey, America is a little bit chaotic right now. And you know what? That means they're not buying lawnmowers or barbecue grills like they used to. And I'm a businessman. I understand this comes and goes. But Christmas is coming up, and I'd like to be able to give my people their year-end bonus I promised them. Like, just tell them this in their ads.
I want to keep my salesman busy. Or what? Yeah.
Keep my salesman busy sale. Like, literally call it something like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it easier for you to do something today so I can continue doing something today, and just close that loophole. Don't that just takes away the, yeah, right, I'm sure it is the best time to buy skepticism, and clarify that, right? Yep. So we've talked about, locking in this year's pricing, getting it done before the end of the year for tax credits or write-offs, special financing offers, bundling and buy one, get one, let's see, gifts with purchase is what we just talked about. Last thing, you had special training classes, courses, or support, or join our club, or get free access to our membership. I love that.
Those are great. Those are usually high margin product because it's time, or
you can create one out of thin air.
You can kind of make one. A maintenance plan are really powerful for like home improvement products.
Yes.
Promise that you'll put them on the top of the list, or have some sort of service type of guarantee, but just keep that going. I think that's really helpful for your customers' peace of mind, which they could use a little bit of right now. And it doesn't cost you a whole lot.
Cool. So you can apply those to your business. Ultimately, we're flipping the script saying, oh, no, you don't want to wait till after the election. You want to do it before the election, because if you wait till after, something bad's going to happen. Either you're not going to get as good a deal, or it's really going to be bad when so-and-so is in the office, right?
So the other guys.
Yeah. So, all right, that's number one. Do an LTO. Focus on those. Use your past customer list. We've already talked about in previous episodes. Increasing your frequency with customers, your follow-up.
Yeah.
Call them with good news saying, hey, I know I quoted you last week, but I got really good news. Our owners just did this, and would you like to go ahead and get it done?
You've talked to 100 customers this year that are dragging their feet because of these reasons, and this is the way to shake that tree.
It's good news.
Yeah.
I'm calling with good news, and you're the only one that gave them good news today, because all the other news sucked, right?
If you have a good idea for your LTO, we'd love to hear it. Send it in. Email us at mavenmonday@frankandmaven.com.
Yeah. I'm in the mood to give out some snazzy mugs.
Okay.
And some hardback
just
copies of Maven
one of these giant Frank and Maven mugs.
Yeah. Murder
Let's
weapons.
Do it. These things are heavy.
Election's coming up, folks. You're going to need them to defend yourself against the other guys.
Better than the ammo everybody else is buying.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So that's really good. I think we'll keep that LTO going, but then we wanted to also bring you back to that North Star we were talking about kind of at the beginning. We're going to just wrap this up with that. Don't forget about your tomorrow customer. I think they say, even the most millionaires are made in recessions than at any other time.
Yes.
And we're not in a recession right now, but that's the feeling, right? It's nobody's buying.
We're in an emotional recession.
Yeah.
A consumerism recession.
Yeah. And so the people who buy, who invest in that recession, the people who choose to use what they have on hand to invest during that time are the ones who see the biggest gains right after the fact.
Yep.
And
planting in the fall so that you have a good spring, right?
You have a chance to buy right now. You're investing in the minds of the customers, and guess what? Everybody else is stopping buying.
Yeah.
The market's down.
Your weak and emotional competitors are going, we better wait and see.
Hold off. And what you need to do is say, no, this is my moment. I'm going to invest, because come February, May, August next year, I'm going to be riding high on everything I invested in.
Yep.
Last year.
You can laugh all the way to the bank, because you were buying today's customer. Sorry, you're buying tomorrow's customer for a much cheaper discount than they'll have to buy it later when the economy suddenly comes back and everybody's frenzying and all 10 of your competitors go to advertise because, quote unquote, things are good now. It's like they were going to be good all along. It was always going to come back. It's America.
Yes.
Economy and elections be damned. That's what we're going to do,
just
right?
Keep going.
It's just always going to come back. So
practically,
go ahead.
That looks like broadcast medias. Most often, that's where we find the most customers we can reach for the least amount of money on a daily basis.
Yes.
And that's TV and radio. It's still the cheapest option.
Be the one smiling, making them laugh, cry, get angry about something. Be the one that's here today, here tomorrow with a good feeling. And man, as soon as this big bad wolf and this storm cloud clears, you're the one that comes to their mind first, and you'll win over a bigger percentage of them now because you were the guy doing that and did never stop. Your snowball keeps building.
That's right.
Last thought. So keep doing that. You've heard us say that. Go look at all the past episodes about how to do tomorrow customers well.
Yep.
And just do that. Keep doing it.
Do it.
Even if it gets a little tighter than normal in the cash flow department. Last thought. Look at the polls. At least 50% of your audience wants it to go one way. 50% of the customers in the world want it to go one way. 50% wants it the other. The sky is falling. People, half of them will be right.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them will go back to immediately going, heck yeah, I'm buying right now. That's half of your customers. Half of them will go, dadgummit, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
And then in a couple months, they'll freaking forget about it.
Yep.
They'll go back to being, like they were the election before this, that whatever half switches, right?
Yep.
So it's that pendulum. And, but there's more than enough consumers who will feel good about it no matter what, still in the market today or after November.
Yep.
And just don't stop winning them over. You are secretly winning November, December, and first quarter of next year's customers while everybody else is sleeping, and that's what we want you to do.
That's right.
That's what we have for you today. If you like this episode, please, dude, everybody needs to hear this, I think. I'm not saying I'm the only guy saying this, but there's a lot more people not saying it than saying it.
Yeah.
And if you got somebody who's clenched up in a pretzel because of economic fear, send this to them. Maybe they'll have an idea that breaks them free. Maybe they won't be totally convinced, but we'll move them along to the next season of business. And we will be back here every week answering your real life marketing questions.
That's right.
Because marketers who can't teach you why
are just a fancy lie.
Have a great week.